Here's a book that we have featured in an interview previously. It's called Another Man's War, and the author is Sam Childers. And in the former interview, we talked about his life as a rebellious kid in a very godly family, but nevertheless at 11 started using drugs, and by the age 15 was out of his home, was riding shotgun for drug deals, became a biker, a biker gang member. It's really quite a story. And today, he not only has seen his life totally changed through the impact of Jesus Christ, but he has extended his life and ministry beyond the parameters of North America into one of the most troubled areas in the world, which is South Sudan, northern Uganda. And we want you to hear from this man because he really is on the cutting edge. Welcome back, Sam.
Good to be here.
We talked about your biking history and the fact that you are building bikes to this day. Your movie has come out, Machine Gun Preacher, and we talked last interview about how all that happened. I want to talk about Southern Sudan.
Yeah.
You're involved in one of the cutting edge areas in the world, and
Right.
just in the last few months, Southern Sudan has become its own
country.
Its own country.
Yeah.
Is it a republic?
They got their independence. Yes, so it is. They got it on the 9th of July.
Right.
It's been a long time going. So now everyone asks me, how's the country doing? You got to remember, you got a country that's been in war for over 22 years. Now they are beginning to build the infrastructure of that country. The big problem that they have is still the president of Northern Sudan, Bashir. Bashir made a claim they won't make it for 6 months, but I'm going to tell you something. South Sudan fought a war for over 22 years with basically nothing and never lost. Bashir had everything. He had Antonovs, he had tanks, he had everything, but he couldn't defeat the people in South Sudan.
To what do you credit this?
I say it's because they want to be a free nation under God. And almost all of them that I have ever been around are believers in Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I say that God sees people that they want to be a country that's going to serve under Him, and they also got the morals of God too.
What do you suppose was the tipping point in terms of the North allowing the South to break free?
The North never allowed it, and they're still giving a big problem. Like right now, everyone thinks there's peace in South Sudan. There's not peace there. I mean, they're fighting in the Blue Nile. They're fighting in Abyei right now, where the North is still trying to, or I should say the North is killing people. Plus Bashir is financing little rebel groups. When you look at the Lord Resistant Army, that's the group that I've been fighting with for so many years. The Lord Resistant Army is being financed by the president of Northern Sudan. Now he's in the Congo now, and he's doing all of his disturbing along the Congo border and Sudan border. But the biggest problem that's going on there is from the president of Northern Sudan. He wants to control the entire country, and he wants to rule it, and he wants to rule it under Arabic law.
Where is most of the oil, south or north?
It's in the south.
It is in the south?
Yeah, it's in the south. One of the problems they have right now is the North owns the pipeline that's there. Right. So somehow they got to work together, or else they got to put in a new pipeline.
Right. The Lord's Resistance Army, unfortunately named. I mean, it's anything but the Lord's. Is it Charles Cooney?
Joseph Kony.
Joseph Kony.
Joseph Kony.
Joseph Kony.
But if you say the name slowly, you'll see what the name truly means. The Lord's Resistant Army.
Oh, the Lord's Resistant Army.
Yeah, so they're actually resisting it. He tried to claim he was Christian at one time, and then he tried to claim that he's Muslim at one time, and a cult leader. But anybody that claims that they hear from 260 some spirits to tell them what to do, we know it's 260 some demon spirits.
Why do you suppose he's been so elusive?
Everyone has asked me that. I mean, why has it been so hard for the countries to track Joseph Kony down? And I usually come back by saying, why did it take us 10 years to get bin Laden? Yeah. when the U.S. has one of the best militaries in the world? You know, we got satellites that can read your newspaper when you're in your backyard. Why did it take us 10 years to get bin Laden? You know, these rebel groups are just hard to track and hunt down. You know, they're guerrilla people. The Lord Resistant Army travels through the jungle. They don't have automobiles, which makes them even harder to find, you know.
Now, you have an orphanage there, and you have orphanages now in other parts of Africa as well. How did you get started?
You know, if you get the book or get the movie, you'll hear the whole story, but I was actually driving through the jungle one day, through the bush, and God said, stop. And so I stopped my automobile, and I got out with an AK-47, a couple soldiers, and I thought there was a problem there, but God said, this is where I want the children's village. And I mean, it's right in the middle of a conflict area. And I'm like, God, this is not a good place. Let's go a little closer to town. But God said, no, I want the children's village here. And we started building this children's village. And now it's one of the largest projects inside of Nimley. You know, Nimley was a really conflicted area one time with war. Now, there hasn't been in over 2 years anybody killed around the orphanage, so there's no fighting around that orphanage now. Northern Uganda has been almost 3 years that they haven't had no people killed there in northern Uganda also. But you got to remember, Joseph Kony, the Lord Resistant Army, they're from the northern Uganda area. The man has tried to come back into northern Uganda several times. The UPDF keeps him pushed out. But I always say it's not finished until they're finished. You know, somebody said the other day, a reporter said, well, you know, sometimes, preacher, you exaggerate on what you're saying. You know, this is not what I'm saying. The newspapers say since the first of the year, the first of 2011, Joseph Kony abducted over 1,000 people. That's not me saying that, that's reporters. He has killed over 200 people. In his time over the past several years, he has abducted over 50,000 children. He's still on the loose. This is a serious problem. If one child is being murdered or cut up, it's still a problem.
And why would he choose to victimize children?
You know, you got to remember he's fueled and financed by the president of Northern Sudan, and me saying that can cause me a problem, you know, but I don't care. The truth is what the truth is. The president of Northern Sudan has caused a genocide in Darfur. He's caused a genocide in South Sudan, and this man is just out to murder and kill. He has war crime charges that is put against him. He literally read the warrants of the war crime charges, and he laughed and he threw them down. You know, he thinks he's untouchable, but God will handle.